white slave owners decided that they needed to have a way to continue to make money. Since they couldn't bring in any more Africans, they decided to breed Africans. And they set up breeding farms. And two of the largest breeding farms in the United States were on the East Coast. One is on the eastern shore of Maryland, Cambridge, Salisbury, this whole region here, because the slave breeding farms were on the eastern shore so that you can offload your cargo and sell them down south, where their labor was needed on the plantations to pick the cotton, to cut down the pine trees, to pick the tobacco. Africans were sent up to Baltimore, up to New York through this trade route. Another large breeding center was in Virginia, down in this region, close along the James River in Richmond. So essentially what happened, through a process that lasted almost 2 generations, over 50 years, these white enslavers would force black women to breed, to mate, to have sex with their fathers, their brothers, their cousins, their uncles, in order to produce children. And in the literature it says that if a black woman, if an enslaved African woman had 15 children, if she was a good breeder, they might set her free, because she had made hundreds of thousands of dollars for her owner. So we're talking literally about tens of thousands of men, women, and children who were produced in these slave breeding factories. That's not a part of the literature that you read. Folk don't talk about that. The reality is that Precious really earned its Oscars. Over the past 82 years, the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Sciences has consistently given Oscars to black actors, black films, black directors that depict black people in an unfavorable light, black people at their worst. Began in 1940 when Hattie McDaniel won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for Gone with the Wind. Whoopi Goldberg in 1991 won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in Ghost. Halle Berry in 2002, Best Actress, Monsters Ball. Denzel Washington, 2002, Best Actor for Training Day. He's done dozens of movies that were Oscar-worthy. Malcolm X. Hurricane Carter, yes. But the message sent in 2002 by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences was, we will only acknowledge you when you are at your worst. I remember I was at a venue a couple of years ago doing a presentation, and I talked about Halle Berry receiving an Oscar for playing a whore. Yeah. For playing a whore. And then a white woman came up to me and said, well, you know, I don't know if I really agree with that because, gosh, what's the name of the Kim Basinger won an Academy for playing a call girl in Hollywood Confidential, which was a really good movie, well-written, well-acted movie, really good movie. She said that Kim Basinger won an Academy Award and she was a prostitute. I said, yes, but Kim Basinger never took her clothes off. You never saw her naked. She always represented herself with class and dignity. That's the difference. So we need to understand that. In 2005, 3 6 Mafia received an Academy Award for Best Song for It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. What kind of message did that send to young, impressionable black boys who want to make it in the recording industry? It says, if you want an Oscar, produce a song about pimping, produce a song about whores, produce a song about the worst of your community, and you will be acknowledged by your white master. We got to see the message. And in 2006, Forrest Whitaker received an Oscar for playing Idi Amin in a fictional film called The Last King of Scotland, where he took in this white guy from Scotland, this white doctor from Scotland, made him his right-hand man, kicked all his black folk to the side, all the people that he had known, his confidants that he had known all of his life, kicked them to the curb for this white boy. Had him run all of the hospitals in Uganda. And then the white boy started a relationship with one of Idi Amin's wives. And what did he do? He killed his wife, but the white boy escaped. And he was given an Oscar for that performance. Forrest Whitaker is a brilliant actor, love him. But the thing is the pattern that we should be able to see, that we should be able to understand, the pattern that we see with regards to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. What type of actor, what type of movie do they reward? Another interesting thing that I came to realize is that Hustle and Flow, The Last King of Scotland, and Precious were all movies that were heavily promoted on NPR. NPR is a non-commercial liberal broadcast entity with a high percentage of Jewish performers. Now, I like NPR. I listen to NPR all the time. They've got some great news stories. They have decent talk shows. I hear information on NPR that I don't hear on any other radio station. So I go to them for a source of news. They are an excellent source of news. But they are a non-commercial radio station. And so it struck me when I began to hear them promoting Precious, promoting Hustle and Flow, a movie about a pimp going through a midlife crisis. That doesn't fit the audience of NPR. But what I noticed, what I saw is that every movie about black folk that they promote is a movie that shows us at our worst, and it's a movie that wins an Oscar. There have been numerous socially responsible films that have depicted black people and black life with a sense of dignity, respect, and honor. There have been movies like Daughters of the Dust. It's a film like Eve's Bayou. Antoine Fisher. Wonderful film. Wonderful film. This was Denzel Washington's directorial debut. I love this film. I cried when I watched this film. It was about a young black man who had been abused, who had been put in foster home. But he dealt with this abuse, this sexual abuse, with dignity and honor. And we didn't support this film like we should have. Hollywood didn't acknowledge this film. Another wonderful film, Akeelah and the Bee. Right. Great story. And I found out that the story was written by a white guy. And it was originally written for a white boy. But then he had difficulty getting producers to buy into the film, so he decided to rewrite the script and make it about a young black girl. And it's an incredible film. It's an awesome film. There's certain movies that we should have in our library. Certain films that we should buy, all right? So that the writer, so that the director can get a percentage of the royalties, all right? So we have to know how to honor those artists who are worthy of honoring. There's a film like Finding Forrester. Great movie about literature, about someone who seeks to lift himself up and does it in a manner that is worthy of praise. Rosewood. I did a lecture just on Rosewood and the stuff in Rosewood that we need to know about. People are telling you, when you see certain things repeated over and over again, somebody is trying to tell you something. And the question is, are you listening? Do you have enough common sense to know what to do? Do you have enough love for yourself and your family to begin preparing now for what you feel is coming down the pike? We are survivors. We've been surviving for a long time, sisters and brothers. It's time for us to stand up and thrive. We don't have the right to keep talking about our ancestors were kings and queens if we keep acting like idiots. It doesn't balance out. It doesn't make sense. So let's demand more from ourselves. Let's demand more from actors and entertainers. And let's change this world. Let's change our relationship with the people in this world so we can become the men and women that we were born on this earth in this point in time to be. Thank you very much.